In an effort to increase affordable housing, a city is proposing giving landlords a property tax break if they provide affordable rents. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over this proposed property tax break for landlords up in a city in Montana. Now, I think that this idea, it's creative, it's different, but I don't think it's going to make a lot of a difference in terms of affordable housing. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And one of those reasons being that I don't think that it sweetens the pot enough and it doesn't compensate landlords enough in order to make up for the lower rents they'd be receiving. So basically, I believe it's the city of Helena, Montana, is proposing that if landlords provide affordable rents in one of their units, then they get up to a 50% cut on their property taxes for the year. Now, this sounds good, but the real question is how much are the taxes? Okay. If the taxes alone don't make up for the lost rental income, then it just wouldn't be worth it. I mean, I know for a fact that, Montana's not New Jersey. So I wonder how much their property taxes are there and if this would truly be worth it or not. So yeah, I mean, this program, it's a good incentive, but it doesn't go far enough in my opinion. But we're going to get into more details about this program in just a moment. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Do you believe a property tax cut is enough to entice landlords to offer affordable rents? I mean, honestly, I don't. Okay, I think that the rental income that a landlord can make is more than enough to justify paying the property taxes. And most landlords, when they buy their properties and they do the math, they figure out what the property taxes are so that they know how much rent they need to charge, and it's just considered a normal expense. So it's not something that would be enticing enough unless it's a place with outrageously high property taxes. So if you're investing in New Jersey and you've got a $1,000 a month every single month for your property taxes, well, maybe this would be a good incentive if you can save $500 of that. So anyway, let's get into this article. This article is coming from the MissoulaCurrent.com, and it says, bill would give landlords a tax break for renting below market value. Yeah, so interesting proposal. Let's see what the details are. Supporters of a bill that would exempt Montana landlords from paying full property taxes if they rent their property below market value told the House Taxation Committee Monday that the bill could offer a much needed solution to the housing crisis and provide affordable housing for renters. Representative Julie Dooling, Republican from Helena, is the sponsor of House Bill 848. She said the bill was designed to combat rising property taxes that she says end up putting both landlords and renters in a bind. So yeah, from the sound of it, this isn't just a citywide proposal like I originally thought, but this sounds like it's a proposal for the entire state. Now, who knows if this is going to pass or not, if there's actually enough support for it, because there's a lot of landlords out there, and those cities and municipalities suddenly losing a lot of property tax revenue it could hurt. It could hurt them a lot, especially if a lot of landlords decide to sign up for the program, especially landlords who already offer rents that are affordable according to them. And the only thing they have to do, they don't have to change their rents or anything. All they have to do is just get their tax decrease. There was a time when I was living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, trying to provide for myself and my son. And they are people that have it way worse out there. And I just think this would be a great bill, especially for those landlords who are wanting to provide housing for folks so that they don't have to live in their car or don't have to go back home and live with their parents or what have you, Dooling said. The bill would basically use property tax breaks to incentivize landlords to offer cheaper rent. Property taxes would be cut by half for an apartment that's offered at least 25% below market value. The owner of a trailer court could get an exemption of 75% of the value of their land if they rent lots for below $500 a month. Leases would need to be extended for at least a year in order to qualify for the tax cuts. So yeah, property tax break of 25%, property tax cut of half if you offer your rents 25% below value. So let's say that your apartment or your house or whatever is renting for $1,000 a month. Well, you have to offer it for $750 a month in order to get this break. So over the course of a year, $750 a month, losing $250 a month, you would be down $3,000. So unless this property tax break gives you a bonus of 3 grand, then it's not worth it for you to take it. Okay, it's just not. The numbers, they are the numbers. The math is easy to do for the landlords who decide to participate in the program. Now, if there are, like I said earlier, if there are landlords who already, for some reason, have their rents below market rate and they already meet this standard, then all they have to do is just keep the rents the same and they get a property tax break on top of that. So that's a huge bonus for landlords not doing anything. So, yeah, I don't think this legislation is going to actually work in terms of incentivizing landlords to lower their rents, but I think it will incentivize some landlords to maintain rents that are already low. Fair market value would be recalculated every year, and the program would be optional for any landlord who chooses to participate. The hearing drew two proponents. One proponent owns and rents trailers across the state, and he said he wants to be able to rent them to his tenants at a price they can afford, but the market is so tight he can't without help. John Sinrad represented Montana Landlords Association and said the stories like that aren't uncommon. They don't want to raise rents and they want good tenants in there, but the property taxes keep going up and somebody's going to have to foot the bill. And that's very true. Simply put, property taxes are a huge expense for a lot of landlords. But, like I said, most of us, we calculate how much those taxes are going to be as part of our expenses. And so it's not really that much of an incentive unless you are getting a property tax cut that will compensate you for the loss of all that rental income. When you're charging rents that are 25% below what the rest of the market is charging, that's a huge cut. That's a huge cut. And I honestly don't know if this is going to work or not. So, I'm sure they're going to work out details. Maybe it'll go a little bit further, but, who knows? It's a good proposal. It won't hurt landlords. And that's one of the things that I'm usually for incentives that don't hurt us. Okay. That is one of the things that I've always been a proponent of, even if I personally wouldn't want to participate in a program. If there are like incentives for Section 8, or if there are incentives like this one for affordable housing, and there are landlords out there who want to participate in these programs, more power to you, and it's good that these programs were available, and hopefully that would actually help some people be able to find affordable housing. But, will it? Probably not. There were no opponents at the bill's hearing Monday. According to the Department of Commerce, the average cost of rent was $886 across the state in 2021. According to the same statistics, 36% of Montanans pay at least 35% of their income on rent. So it says that the average rent is $886, right? And Montana isn't like a highly urban state. It's a pretty rural state. So the rents obviously are going to be much lower there than they would in a lot of other places. So to me, I look at that and I'm like, well, the rents in Montana aren't very high already. And yet, there's still a majority of people are paying a large portion of their income towards their rent, which means there's a lot of lower income people in the state who don't have the means to pay for large rent increases. But that doesn't mean that landlords are gouging prices or any of that. All that means is that the market is, it's a little slower than other markets in more urbanized places. So yeah, interesting proposal. I hope that if this does pass, like they said there were no opponents who were against it, right? And one of the things I always think about too is, where is the money going to come from that's going to pay for this? And what is going to be cut? Because we're talking about, let's say that, there's landlords in a city, a lot of landlords decide to participate in this program. Well, that city will no longer be receiving as much property taxes. And, property taxes pay for things such as schools and, other city services. So, who are the winners and who are the losers? That's the big question. And hopefully they get all the details worked out, because this could be a good idea.